Okay, well, here's what it looks like under the truck. There's the rolled pan attached to the back of the bed below the tailgate. You see the nutserts. See how they hang down? Probably the thickness of the sheet metal, so the recess they put in there no longer gives the sheet metal a place to lay where it's flush with the bottom of the roll pan. I'm going to change that. I'm going to drill these out. I'm going to put a piece of 3/16 flat stock on top of this. Going to use some of that panel adhesive, glue the panel adhesive across the top of that sheet metal, and I'm going to drill and tap it with those same threads so that the screws will go into that flat stock that I'm going to glue on there, and nothing will be hanging down below the sheet metal. The nutserts will be gone. There'll just be a hole there. And on the front side, there's what the front side looks like. That's where I cut those slots to go around those hangers. I'm going to do the same thing there. I'm going to put a piece of flat stock where each hole, I'm not going to go all the way across. I'm going to put a short piece of flat stock where each fastener goes. Fastener for the roll pan goes. There'll be 3 of them. And I'm going to drill and tap that as well. I bought 3/16 flat stock because what I did was measure the fasteners here are a 1032. So what I did is I measured a 1032 nut. It's only 1/8 of an inch thick. The piece of material I got that I'm going to drill and tap is 3/16. So it gives me an extra 1/16 of threads. And if you kind of do the calculation, 32 threads per inch, that would be 8 threads for a 1/4 inch, 6 threads for a 3/16 inch, 4 threads for an 1/8 inch. So I'm giving it 2 more threads than the nuts would, so that's got to be enough just to hold that sheet metal up there. The next thing I'm going to work on is modifying the headers to start the exhaust. I'll hang this on the motor just so I can lay under there and show you what we're dealing with there. I don't know how good this is going to come because it's about impossible to shoot. I'm only, a foot away from where I'm trying to film or tape, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, there's the header. There's the header coming off the motor. You can see how tight it is to the, man, I can't. You can see how tight it is, like to the universal joint on the steering. The flange is almost against it. The other side is right behind the starter. I'll see if I can show you that side. There's the passenger side. You can see how close it comes to the starter. So we need to do a little modification here too. They clear everything, but I guess you probably could put a flange on that and bolt it up. If you had to remove the starter, you would have to also remove the exhaust or move it out of the way somehow or other, if that would be possible. Anyway, we're going to do some modification on these headers and see what we can do after that when we start building the exhaust on this. So that'll be one of the next things I'm going to work on, is preparing to do the exhaust on this while Scott's working on the exhaust on the time machine. So anyway, later, more to come later. Oops. Okay, let's see what that looks like now that I cut it off. There you have it. And hopefully we can do this. Don't know if I'm in the right spot with this. Hopefully we can do that either with a fitting or a hunk of pipe. Let me see if I can clean this up a bit. Well, now that looks like it could work. We're not going to use this piece there, but what I've done here is just used a handy piece of 2.5 inch pipe to fit into the end of this collector, because that's what we're going to do. We're just going to go down probably with an elbow facing on let's see, on the driver's side we're going to face probably out this way, and the other side will probably do the same thing. So we're going to, like I say, we're going to go down and immediately away from the motor, I think. We'll see when we get it up there. But like I said, I think that can work. So halfway there, I got to do another one. Wasn't that bad, actually. It came out, I was a little concerned about that because there was no pipe. You notice I cut right against the flange as much as I could. I actually left a little material there, but most of it's right against the flange because there's no pipe. And I was a little concerned about how we were going to attach to it, but looks like it's going to work. Okay, well, that so far is working out pretty well. You can see the threaded piece of material that I'm going to use to fasten this. I've got it, I tried it there just to make sure that the holes would all line up. And I'm using buttonhead stainless instead of, they drilled it and countersunk it for flatheads, but that doesn't work with the sheet metal. The sheet metal's too thin. They dimpled the holes on the back where they countersunk them, so the metal doesn't go tight. I'm using the buttonhead Allens instead, because it's, like I said, it's underneath the truck. No one's going to see, you know, the fact that the screws are surface. So anyway, we're getting there. So far, so good. Well, there's the 3 fasteners for the front of the rolled pan that attaches to that cross member that supports the bedwood. I'm going to go stick those in right now. This is all temporary. I'm just making all that, fabricating all this stuff. Tomorrow, hopefully I'm going to glue it. So that's what I'm shooting for. Get it all fabricated and mocked up, and then glue it, because you know you got the nozzle's only good for one application. So once you get the nozzle out, you got to do all the gluing. Otherwise, you throw the nozzle away and start over. So anyway, what I'm trying to do is get it all set up so I can glue everything and clamp it and let it cure tomorrow. Give it a shot. Okay, so there you go. I think it's all ready to install tomorrow. Got the holes drilled here, along with the notches for that front cross member, that where we modified the rear chassis cross member. I'll show you the rest underneath here. Okay, let's see. Let's get some light on the subject here. There. Okay, so you can see the bolt, see the 1/4 20 up here, and one in the middle, and one on that side. Those are and the fasteners are up in there. The pieces are 1/4 inch stock, drilled and tapped, so I'm going to glue those in place tomorrow. There's one there, and there's one over there, and this one in the front is a long one. Goes all the way across, and it's got the fastener holes drilled in it. See there? I've got it taped up in there temporarily and clamped over here. Now, what I've done here, let's see if I can show you. There. See, there's a big hole on the end where the fastener goes. And I got to relieve that a little because the holes the manufacturer made in the cover, in the rolled pan cover, don't exactly match up with the holes they drilled here and put the nutserts in. So I got to relieve these a little bit. I drilled the holes in the fastener piece using centering punches from the cover. And now you notice there's a small hole right next to the bigger hole. That's an 1/8 inch alignment hole. I'll use an 1/8 inch bit in there tomorrow. And I drilled one on this end too. I don't know if you can see it there. Creeper don't want to move. There it is. See the bigger hole and the 1/8 inch hole and a little black mark where I got to relieve a little material. Not as much as I marked, but just to indicate where it needs to get relieved. And I think the next one was good. The center one was good. Yeah, and the two on that end needed a little relief. So that's where I'm at here. Should be able to glue this tomorrow. Hopefully. Takes a while doing all of this, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately. It just takes a while doing all this. Anyway, bye. Well, there's the pan all installed. So I know all the screws are going to line up when I go to do this permanent and put it up there, you know. The last time, I know it's going to fit. All the screws are going to line up with the fasteners. So, one last thing I'm going to do is I've made a big flat piece to go. Hang on a minute, I can't move here. I'm laying on the creeper and it isn't cooperating. Okay, well, I've been remiss in filming as I go along, but here we are. The piece is glued in there. The threaded piece that's going to be the fastener under there. And I've made these little, out of an old piece of molding, I made these little spreaders that are holding the metal piece down against the sheet metal. In other words, squishing the glue. What I'm going to do now, and I've done the same thing on this end. I don't have the spreaders, but I bolted the short pieces in place here, and now I have temporarily taped them in so I could remove the bolts. And what I'm going to do is put the pan up here and bolt it all in place so I know it will all attach while the stuff is all wet. So, and then I'll show you what else I'm going to do. I'm going to put a jack under this end. Now that I got spreaders up to the bed on top, I got something to push against. I'm going to put a little pressure on it from underneath. I'll show you more there later. Okay, well, you can see I made this to go up underneath where I just glued that long piece in so that I can wedge it. You know, you remember, I put all the little spreaders, the straight up and down pieces, to the bottom of the bed. So now if I push up against this, it's pushing up against the bottom of the bed. So I'll show you what's going to happen here. Hang on a second. There you go. That's what I was trying to explain. So I'm putting enough pressure on that it's starting to lift the... It's not lifting it. I mean, it's pushing up on the bottom of the bed. Probably got, 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds pressure pushing up. So I'm going to leave that. Tomorrow I will take it loose. It takes 12 hours for this stuff to cure completely. 4 hours cure. It said 12 hours complete or something like that. So what is it now? I can't read the clock. 4:30?
It's 4:40.
4:40. Okay. Anyway, 12 hours? Yeah, I'll be asleep. But tomorrow morning we'll take this all apart and make sure it's all nice and tight and solid and glued, like the upper stuff did the last time we glued it. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks. Thanks for watching, obviously. Bye.